you're not alone. If you need someone to talk to today, please contact Crisis Services Canada by either calling them at 1-833-456-4566 all hours of the day, or you can text them at 45645 at 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Eastern Time. Remember, you're not alone, and Crisis Services Canada is here to help. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this Thursday night edition of Coffee with Graeme on AETi Productions. I'm your host, Graeme Forsyth. Coffee with Graeme is brought to you by Evolve Green, AETi, TOVI Hockey, Caisse Financial, and Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy. We're going to have a loaded lineup in tonight's episode. We're going to have about 5 guests on tonight, 4 interviews in total for you guys. This first guest joining me is a coach from the MMJHL. He's joined me earlier on this year on Coffee with Graeme, pretty recently. It's Brock Couch. He's the head coach of the Stonewall Jets. His team right now sits at 3-2-1 at the date. Or on the date of this recording. I'm going to have a chance to ask Brock tonight about just how the season's gone for his team, the offense that they've been able to produce. We'll talk about the defensive side of things. We'll talk about the games that they've had a chance to play in so far, the results in those games, as well as the upcoming game for this team tomorrow night against the Transcona Railer Express. That's coming up on this edition of Coffee with Graeme with the first guest on tonight's episode, Brock Couch, here on AETi Productions. And there he is, Brock Couch, joining me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme. His team, of course, 3-2-1 so far this season. They got a big matchup tomorrow night against the Transcona Railer Express. But Brock, how's it going? How have things been with you since the last time that we've talked?
Good, yeah. The fall weather sure held out for us. That was sure nice. So got in a few extra golf rounds than usual, and might even get a couple more here on closing weekend. Me and my assistant coach actually might go for a pregame round on Sunday before we play Fort Garry. But got to take care of Transcona, like you said, first, right?
Yeah, for sure. Nice to get that game of golf in if you guys can, though. I know it's been raining quite a bit lately here in Manitoba, but definitely been seeing some nice weather for sure at this time of year, especially here in the fall. But, talking about the team so far, you guys are 3-2-1. 27 goals for, a lot of offense, first in the league, most goals for so far, and 24 against, which is the third most. When you first talked to me, when I first talked to you in that first interview we did, you said, the focus is finding guys up front to, fill out that depth, get some scoring, and it's really come to fruition for you guys so far. Talk about what you've liked out of your team offensively so far this season.
Yeah, definitely. Offensively, I think we have a great top six that can always put pressure on lines, and not that the bottom six hasn't been chipping in, but definitely with the Smith, Pasechnikov, Chamberlain as of late line, they've sure been producing, and they do some real good work in the offensive end of things. As far as defense goes and goaltending, we have a young goaltender in right now. He started every game in Liam Jardine, and it's a lot to ask of a second-year guy. But the reason that he's been in every game is our returning goaltender, Adam Swan, is come up with some knee issues here, so we're just taking care of that, not rushing him in, and Liam's doing a great job. As a unit, I'd say as a 5-man unit out there, we have some defensive inconsistencies, as you mentioned. The goals against isn't quite as low as we'd like it. We've been in too close of games, in my opinion, and the ones we've lost have just kind of slipped away. Which these are good lessons to learn early on.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If there's any time to struggle in any area of the game, it's definitely you'd like to see it early on in the season rather than when things are heating up and you guys are getting ready to make a push for getting a higher rank and potentially in playoffs. But, talking about the offense, keying in on some players, Matthew Smith, of course, leads the league with 12 points right now. Rookie Cole Emberley leads the league in goals right now at 7. And then, talking about, I forget how you pronounce his name, Daniel
Pasechnikov. There you go.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. He's at 10 points right now, 8 assists, second in the league in points. Talking about him, first off, I know he's listed as a defenseman, but you said he's been playing up on forward so far?
Yeah, that's just a mistake that's getting sorted out slowly with the league's data entry or whatever. I'm not even sure why he was listed as a defenseman. His brother Greg plays on the team as a defenseman, so maybe there was some confusion there. But yeah, those two veteran players played. I think this is their 3rd or 4th year of junior hockey. They've had a bit of junior A experience, but they sure complement each other well with Daniel with his very fast feet, and he's not afraid to get in the corners and win battles, dig the puck out, and to find Matthew, who has such a good shot from any angle really, and they both kind of look for each other, and Matthew with not the highest total of goals, but I think a lot of his assists come from just putting shots on net from anywhere and people stepping on rebounds or things like that. So yeah, that unit's really working out well for us up front, and they see a lot of offensive face-offs. To be honest, they don't get a lot of defensive zone time. Just if we have the option on a whistle in zone, we put them in the offensive zone. If we have a whistle in the defensive zone, we get some other guys out that are more in that role to help us out down there. So,
well, definitely a line that's been, like you said, working out great for you guys so far. Going to be exciting to see if they can continue their pace that they're on right now as a unit. Talking about rookie Cole Emberley, like I said, leads the league in goals with 7 so far this year. How nice has it been to see a rookie like Cole step up into the lineup and contribute like he has so far?
Yeah, for sure. Cole, right from the start of camp, was really exciting for us to see him, kind of light up the goalies that we're trying out, and even our goalie that we have now. He sure can tuck things away there at the net, and he has a really good instinct for when to shoot and when to pass, and he sure takes his opportunities. And we noticed his potential early on, and what we said, we're going to put him with 2 of our top players. So he plays with 2 guys that have quite a bit of junior A experience in Tyler Van Dynes and Jackson Blight. So as a rookie to be able to play with 2 guys like that, he's very fortunate to be in that spot, but he deserves it. So it's really nice to see a guy like that, a young kid like that, excel. And he's very happy with the spot he's in right now, but I think that's a kid that, maybe he didn't get a fair evaluation in the junior A tryouts this year. Obviously, he came from AAA last year. He got sent back from Selkirk, and so we'd like to hang on to him for years to come. Obviously, as a young 18-year-old, but I see junior A in his future if things happen the way they usually do with hockey in Manitoba. So it's nice to have him. Obviously, we'd like to keep him for years to come, but that's a kid with a lot of potential, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. And if he happens to choose Stonewall as that place to play for his junior career, that would be a huge plus for you guys, especially with the start he's off to this season and the ability he's shown. Looking at the offense as a whole, at least 11 players with at least a goal so far this year. You talked about the top six, but obviously there is some depth on this team as well. Just speak about what you've liked about the depth of this offense so far this year.
Yeah, we have we're on our way to kind of finding roles for guys. We have a very responsible third line, a very hardworking fourth line, and that's kind of what we imagine as a winning team, a successful team in this league. Two lines that you rely on most of the time to produce your offense, but if your third line and fourth line can chip away at that and also shut down the other team's top lines, then that's, I think, a recipe for success. So we have Rhett Woods, a local Stonewall boy, played high school here. He's amazing on the face-off, so you can always rely on him in the D zone to get out. He's a very coachable kid. Also, a guy named Michael Spence from up north here. He's a big body and likes to play physical, and also has amazing hands as well. So these kids they might be in their second year of junior, but we all know what happened last year. So really, these guys have still a lot to learn, and the faster they can do that and absorb, what our coaching staff is trying to accomplish, I think the ceiling's very high for this team.
Yeah, and speaking about it, just that year off, we've spoken about it before, I'm pretty sure, or at least I've spoken to many coaches and players about it. Coaches actually, but not players yet. But talking about just that year off of hockey for everyone, just the impacts it's had. What have you noticed in the sense of just the players that had a chance to crack the roster last year, didn't really get a shot, that are playing this year? Just speak about how you've seen them really take shape this year and play out there.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like, obviously, this is, as the famous saying go, unprecedented times. But a lot of kids that were, I think, excited to play their first year junior that kind of got it ripped away from them. And whether that was in junior A or any league across, any junior league across Canada. So what we've noticed is really just, two sides, I'd say, a hunger to get back in the game, and also maybe some kids that have lost interest just from getting that year ripped away from them, and they found other things in either school or work or whatever. So I think there was a bit of a struggle in these kids finding interest again, finding the love for the game again. But all in all, I think everybody's excited to be back, have fans in the building as well. The feeling's good around like the younger guys. I think they're enjoying themselves, and they're hungry to learn and catch up as quick as they can, like we said, with missing last year.
Yeah, and just talking about the fans, now that you guys have had a chance to play games this year in the league with fans in the stands, just how cool is that? I know it's crazy saying how cool is that having fans back in the stands, but what we went through in the past year, even when players were playing, couldn't have the capacities that we're seeing now. What has it been truly like to see the atmosphere and to have these players playing in an atmosphere with fans so far this year?
Yeah, I think they're loving it. Even as a coach, it's nice. We had a really exciting shootout loss, unfortunately, but we had I think a 14-round shootout maybe against St. James, and it was electric in there. Like, there was a good group of young fans, a good group of parents, and it was awesome to see that. Like, our goalie was loving it when he'd make a save, and he'd go and look up at the young crew. They always sit just above our home end, and yeah, it's awesome. I remember playing and enjoying that too. But I mean, it's nice to see these kids enjoying it and also the fans enjoying it.
No doubt about it. Just great to see fans back in the stands here in hockey, and just seeing the fans and the Canadian crowds in the NHL is pretty surreal to see, especially after the season last year of not seeing any fans until playoff time for some of these teams. But talking about the defense, you talked about earlier how there's been some inconsistencies. You guys want to clean that stuff up, but in your opinion, what do you think has led to that biggest area of concern in the defensive play from this team so far this year?
Right. I think there's a lot to learn in a short amount of time to get everybody clicking and on the same page. We have very talented defensemen, and I would say all of them have the ability to jump up in the play. And there's been a little bit of that where, if they're going to get a little offensive, we got to have somebody back up for them. And
right,
I think it's odd man rushes that have really bit us in some games. Whereas I want defense to contribute offensively. That's kind of the way the game's going nowadays. But it's time and a place. So we've talked about this day in, day out, and it's coming. It's tough to hold a guy back when you tell them they're able to do certain things, but them being able to recognize the right time to do these things is key. And also, everybody as a 5-man unit has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
So I think it's the early goings of getting in practices, being able to make mistakes and learn from them is huge. So, like, I think we're 6 games in, right? So 6 games of we're coming.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot more games to be played, so a lot of time for you guys to sort stuff out in practices and see it in game. And great to know that this defense, like you talked about, has that ability to jump into the rush. Just gotta to fine tune some things, and then we'll see how it all comes together, right? But talking about the game so far, you guys have wins against Charleswood, 2 wins against St. Boniface. And then losses coming to River East in that opener, 6-5 loss in that 14-round shootout, like you said, against the Canucks, and then most recently a 6-4 loss against the Twisters. So just looking at it in the wins and losses, describe how the games have gone so far for this team in terms of those games that you guys have won and lost so far.
Right. I would say we'll start at the start. River East, they have 2 great goaltenders in that night when we were against. I think his name's Gordie. I know his last name's Pole. It's either Gordon or Reg. I can't remember, but I know we ran into a hot goaltender that night. We outshot that team, and and they work hard. They always work hard, River East, and I'm not sure if you've looked at past years, but it's really nice to see River East have some success here early. If I have to be honest, I hate it that was against us, but I don't think River East has won the first game of the season. I might be wrong, but it might be 10 years. Like, so that club, it must feel great for them to be able to be in a top half position early on, and they're having some success. They're beating some good teams. We went to Charleswood, I think, right? And that was close. Like, they're a young team, but that was a close win where we're still trying to figure things out. St. James, we matched up pretty evenly. I think we matched up pretty evenly, and it came down to the shootout. So I always love playing St. James. It's been a rivalry for me personally for years since I was a player, and I know the other coaches, and it's a friendly, healthy rivalry, I would say. Yeah. With our losses to PV most recently, I think we kind of lost it in the last 5 minutes. We took some risks that maybe shouldn't have been taken, and they ended up capitalizing. And PV's always been really dangerous for that. They're never out of a game. I believe we tied it up. The box score doesn't say so, but we tied it up in the third. And with 5 minutes left, they had scored 2 to take it away from us. So at least we know we can hang. We can hang with PV, because I know some years they're just so dominant. When you go to Morris, it's tough to win in Morris. So I'm okay with giving those 2 points up early. I just hope next time we have a different result.
Yeah, and nice to see that you guys were in a game with the team like the Twisters, a team that, like you said, has been one of the top teams in the league for many years, always been dangerous. Like you said, tough to win in Morrison. Then, yeah, speaking about River East, I've looked at the standings looking back, and it has been pretty for them most recently. In the past 10 years for sure, or however long they've been struggling. But to see them, like you said, come out this year, it's pretty nice to see them have the success they're having early on. We'll finish off with the game this Friday, tomorrow, against the Transcona Railers, a team that is loaded with talent. Going to be a huge test for you guys. I'm sure that the boys are excited on the team to get that thing going tomorrow. But what's going to be the game plan tomorrow, going up against the Railers in this early season tilt?
They have a very good duo in net. I don't know who we'll see, but both guys have very good numbers, and we've played against both of them in past years, and they're both very, very skilled goaltenders. So that's the ultimate test right there, is being able to disturb the net front and get at them. They have, pretty deep defense. So, getting the puck deep, keeping it deep, and just trying to maximize our zone time and wearing those guys down early on is key. With their forwards, their top 2 lines are dangerous. We got to shut down the Grunston, and I think his name's I think there's a Cochin still on that team. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
And Boonstra. So those 3 guys are guys that we got to key on and be able to shut down. So it's just staying responsible, keeping it simple. You're on the road. You can't match lines as well or at all sometimes. I know Derek Gagnon on the other side there. He's a very, very good, experienced coach. But I like to think so am I. So, we'll see what we can do out there. I think the boys are confident that we can take 2 points from them. And you're right. It will be a test, but I think we're up for it.
Yeah, well, let's see how it unravels tomorrow at East End Arena at Stonewall, taking on the Transcona Railer Express. If you guys are in the area, be sure to check it out. Should be a good one. Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets, joined me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme on this Thursday evening here in October. Thanks for joining me, Brock. You take care.
Thanks, Graeme.
And with that, we're going to throw it to a commercial break here. We're going to come back and talk some female hockey, talking to MFHL Player of the Week for Week 2, Brooklyn Franklin, number 6 of the Westman Wildcats, coming up here on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick with us.
Why go solar? Solar is better than ever. Our revolutionary design and inverter equipment with the latest in solar panel technology for the ultimate in-home and business security. That's right, I said security. Grid security and security of your home are linked. Fortify your future today with a battery backup system. No maintenance, quiet running. Did you know in Manitoba, grid-connected, off-grid, and battery backup systems are 100% right off in the year you purchase for any company or farm. Do you want to back up your internet, keep your tills running, and the lights on? We can install a system that is right for you, with battery backup fully capable of taking on all those essential loads and keeping you running. When you call our experts at Evolve Green, ask about getting your free energy audit today. Call or email today to find out what system works best for you. 1-866-5EVOLVE or support@evolvegreen.ca. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.evolvegreen.ca.
Welcome back to this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I just had to fill up my mug here, the Coffee with Graeme. I gotta always have it supplied with fluids, right? So yeah, you just heard from Evolve Green, one of our official sponsors here on Coffee with Graeme on the network. Be sure to check them out on their website if you guys are looking to go solar. But yeah, welcome back to Coffee with Graeme. I just talked to Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets in the MMJHL. Going to move into talking about some female hockey now. Going to have MFHL Week 2 Player of the Week on the show now. Joining us now is Brooklyn Franklin, second-year forward for the Westman Wildcats. Brooklyn joined me on this Thursday edition of Coffee with Graeme, of course. Brooklyn, nice to connect with you. How are things going for you on this Thursday evening?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me. How are you?
Doing good. Great to have you on the show. ASTV was actually at your game this past weekend against the Pembina Valley Hawks. Saw you score 2 big goals for the team, opening up the scoring for you guys when you guys were down 2-0. And then, of course, you get in the winners. So just talking about that game, how exciting was it to have such a huge game so early on here in the season?
It was really fun to play in. The girls are really great to be on a team with. So scoring that first goal to get everyone going was pretty exciting. I thought we were a little down on ourselves after being down 2 goals after the first period. So I felt like after getting the first goal, we got back into it and felt like we were still in the game.
Yeah, and for you, it gave your team life. You guys really, opened things up after that, after you scored that goal. But for you, just talk about yourself as a player. You displayed some nice speed out there, some nice finishing ability and tight. But talk about what type of player Brooklyn Franklin is.
Well, I'm not really usually a big scorer. I feel like I'm a good leader, so that's probably where my strengths are on the team. I like to make plays and make good passes for the more stronger players to score goals. I'm just there to get the puck to them for them to get us up on the scoreboard.
Right. That's great to hear. Always great to have players like that can make their teammates better and feed them the puck like you can. But 4 goals this year, no assists so far, leading the team in goals. How pleased were you with the start you're having so far in this season?
I'm really happy that I'm on the scoreboard. That usually doesn't happen. So I think if I just keep it up, I'll have a good year because it's starting off pretty good and exciting for me.
Talking about this team, it's your second year with them. Westman's been one of those top dogs in the league for many years. At this point, always in contention for a championship. But just talk about how you felt that you've bonded and gone along with this group here in your second year with the team.
Yeah, this year's been really fun. I feel all the teammates this year get along with each other, and we're not afraid to talk to each other and be open with each other, which I feel transfers onto the ice. So it's really fun to be a part of, and it's a great group of girls to get to know this year.
Talking about what you worked on in the off season to maybe improve your skills, were you putting in a lot of work this off season?
Yeah, I try to work out as much as I can and shoot pucks as much as I can to get ready for tryouts and the next season. I also play softball during the summer, so I stay active and I try to keep myself in good shape and be ready for the next year to come to perform at my best.
How beneficial have you found it just being able to play sports other than hockey, like softball, just really getting those benefits from being a two-sport athlete?
Yeah, I think it really helps me with my hockey because I get to meet more people and have other friend groups around that encourage me for not only my other sports but also hockey. And also getting to learn new sports and being another teammate can really help with my game and make me a good teammate when it comes to the hockey season.
Talking about you get an MFHL Week 2 Player of the Week, an honor like that, I'm sure that you're proud of it. Just describe the feeling you felt when you, found out that you were the Player of the Week this week in the MFHL.
Yeah, it was really exciting and unexpected, and I hope that it shows the rest of my teammates and maybe the new girls playing that hard work pays off and that they should always work for what they want because it was really exciting for me, and I hope that they get a chance to feel it too by working hard through the season.
You guys are off to a terrific start so far this year, 4-0, one of the few remaining unbeaten teams in the league. 13 goals for, 6 against. Just speak about why you felt that this team so far this year has been able to get the wins you guys have been able to get so far.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're all really good friends and it's a great group of people. So since we all get along off the ice, I feel like playing on the ice is really beneficial for that because we're not afraid to make mistakes and other people get mad at us. We're there because we want to be there and we're having fun. So I think that everyone gets along good. So it really helps us with our game.
You guys are starting a 2-game weekend of games, I guess. So we'll call it that. 2 games this weekend. Saturday against the Ice, and then back in action Sunday against the Pembina Valley Hawks. That game against the Ice starts a 3-game homestand. Talking about the week of practice so far, how's the team feeling heading into this weekend of games?
Yeah, we're definitely working hard at all our practices because we are a young team that need to keep practicing and work together to play against some of the stronger teams. And I think this week at practice went pretty good. After having 2 big wins this weekend, or last weekend, we were still really hyped up and we want to feel the same way after this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Got to keep that good feeling going, right? Heading into this weekend, 2 big games coming up. What have you guys been working on in practice the most this week?
This week was mostly penalty kill. So we had some new girls trying to figure that stuff out and some returning girls just getting a refresher on this. So hopefully we get lots of chances for power play and penalty kill this coming weekend. And if so, then we'll be prepared.
Well, good luck to you and your team this weekend, Brooklyn, of course, against the Winnipeg Ice. Then a rematch from last Saturday's matchup on Sunday against the Pembina Valley Hawks, this time in your guys' home barn. You take care, and once again, best of luck this weekend coming up in the games.
Thanks, Graeme. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem, Brooklyn. You take care. That was Brooklyn Franklin, number 6 of the Westman Wildcats, joined me on the show. 2nd year forward, having a strong start to her season. 4 goals so far, leading her team in that category. We'll see if she can keep it up this weekend coming up against the Winnipeg Ice and the Pembina Valley Hawks. And speaking of the Pembina Valley Hawks, going to be joined by 2 of their players after the break. Cambree, Martens, and Annika Braun will be joining me to talk about the season they've had so far, as well as their commitment to the University of Jamestown. And we'll also have some highlights for you guys from this past Saturday's matchup that Pembina Valley had against the Westman Wildcats in that game. That's all coming up here on Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick with us. And welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I was just joined by number 6 of the Westman Wildcats in the MFHL. Brooklyn Franklin talked about her big weekend where she was awarded MFHL Player of the Week for week 2 and talked about just her as a player, some other things too. Of course, this upcoming weekend of games they got against the Winnipeg Ice and the Pembina Valley Hawks. And speaking of the Pembina Valley Hawks, like I said before, I went to the last commercial break. Going to be having 2 of their players on, Cambree, Martens, and Annika, Braun. But before we do that, going to show you guys some highlights. ASTV Productions was in Morden, Manitoba to cover Pembina Valley's home game this past weekend against the Westman Wildcats. And, a lot of back and forth action in that game. We'll show you guys the highlights right now. Just got to queue them up. Let's see here. Enjoy. Frame with the Hawks on the power play. Quinn McLaren fires a puck on net, which is batted in out of the air for a beauty by Caitlin Anderson. Here's a closer look at it. What a beautiful goal. The Hawks go up 1-0 early. Later in the period, Erica Fiala sends a shot towards the net from the point. Abby Bordadui ends up finding the loose puck and buries it to extend the Hawks' lead to 2-0. Pembina Valley would carry the 2-0 lead into the second. In the second frame now, Brooklyn Franklin beats the defenseman with speed on this play, driving the puck to the net. Franklin ends up getting tripped, but maintains possession to put the puck in the net. The net comes off, however, but the refs decide to call it a goal anyways. We got a 2-1 hockey game. Then, in the last 30 seconds of the period, Callie Rice unloads this.
Shot on net, scores! Westman striking here late in the second period to tie this one up at 2. We're all even up now, Seth.
And what a beautiful shot by Rice off the face-off, putting this one high blocker side to tie this one at 2 apiece. The game would remain tied at 2 heading into the third. Into the third now with the Wildcats in the Hawk zone. Brooklyn Franklin digs this puck out of a crowd of Hawks players and buries it for the go-ahead goal. The score remained the same from that point on as the Westman Wildcats keep their perfect season going, moving to 3-0, while the Pembina Valley Hawks suffered their first loss of this 2021-2022 MFHL regular season. And of course, since then, the Westman Wildcats improving to 4-0 and Pembina Valley improving to 3-1 on the weekend after their win this past Sunday. Now we're going to bring in 2 of their players now. It's Annika, Braun, and Cambrie Martens joining Coffee with Graeme. Girls, thanks for taking the time out of your Thursday evening for joining me here on the show. I'm sure that those highlights, not what you want to see, but I'm sure that it's fuel heading into that rematch on Sunday against Pembina Valley, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
So thanks for coming on, joining me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme. How have things been for you guys this week? I'm sure you guys have had a chance to, do some practices, nail some stuff down, getting ready for this upcoming weekend of games. What's the week of practice been like for you guys?
We worked on a lot of zone entry things to have some more creativity in the offensive zone, try and put more pucks in the back of the net. We worked on some breakouts too to try and get out of our zone cleaner, but it was a good week of practice.
Yeah, I agree with what Cambree said.
Yeah, great to hear. Great to hear. Well, you guys so far this year having great seasons so far. Are you both on pace for having career bests in terms of stats this season statistically? Just speak about how you felt your guys' game has really been able to come full circle this year into having the start you guys have been able to have this year individually.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, for me, I feel like my confidence this year is a lot better than it has been in the past. So I felt more confident with carrying the puck, taking shots, being a bit more creative. So I've been able to put up some more points that way than I have in the past.
Yeah, I feel like this year my confidence has definitely grown a lot more. So I've just been carrying the puck more, trying new things, and lots of the time it's been working out. So I think that's what has been getting me the points.
Yeah, great to hear. Well, in your game, I've really noticed this year from when we've covered you guys, you like to, use the chip and go a lot, beat the defenseman with speed, and then get possession of that puck, also having some chippiness to your game as well. But just speak about, the things that you have worked on this off season, Annika, in terms of, getting ready for this year.
I definitely worked on improving my confidence. In past years, I've just been like, get the puck, throw it away. So I've worked on that a lot. I also did a lot of like home workouts and like shooting pucks in the backyard just to like prepare for the season.
And then for you, Cambrie, you've displayed some nice skills with the puck so far this year, really able to find your teammates, putting them in high danger places for scoring chances, giving your team the best shot to score some goals out there with some of your passages. Speak about what you've worked on this offseason in terms of getting ready for this season in the MFHL.
I spent a lot of time in the gym this summer working on strength. That's something that I've always needed to work on. Did some shooting pucks as well. I also play soccer, so I've been playing soccer since May, probably played throughout the summer, had my school season, so that's also helped with my hockey too.
Yeah, that's great. Always getting to get out there and play not only hockey, but some other sports as well. Talking about the university commitment that you guys have made, both committing to the University of Jamestown for the 2022-2023 season, going to be committing to a program that's starting off fresh, inaugural season next season. Just speak about what the decision was like for you guys to choose Jamestown as that next place to play.
I was definitely excited to be like part of the first team ever. So like as you're going there as a first year, you're going to be playing right away, which was definitely something that was a positive. It's also pretty close to home, so that's also why I picked it. But yeah, pretty excited to go there with Cambree.
Yeah, it's really cool to get to go there with one of your friends and teammates that you've played with for a long time. And yeah, like Annika said, the fact that it's the first season is really cool because we get to be all the firsts on the team, the first win in that program. You could be a part of the first goal in that program. Like, that's a really cool thing to get to be a part of.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And like you said, you guys get to do it together, which is pretty awesome. You guys have known each other for quite a long time at this point, going through the seasons you guys have with Pembina Valley. But what's the conversations been like with the coaching staff that you guys had leading up to, deciding to commit to James?
So our current coach right now, Dana Bell, actually got us in contact with Amber Schock, the coach of Jamestown. And so I personally texted with her a bit. We set up a first phone call, talked about everything. She gave me all the information that I needed and stuff. And then she came down to our showcase in Central Plains to meet us. So we talked to her in person then. And then I had another phone call with her until I decided that, yeah, that was the place that I wanted to go play.
Yeah, my experience was definitely similar to Cambrie's. I called with her a few times, had a call with my parents, and then we ultimately decided that was a place for me.
Nice. And, I'm sure, getting, that type of commitment from a coach, wanting to talk to you guys, making it easy through this process, to have a coach like that to talk to makes it a lot easier. And why you guys decide to, join the University of Jamestown. What will you two be studying? I heard you guys, from reading that you guys are both excellent students in the classroom. So I'm interested what you guys are looking to be choosing as that thing you want to study during your time at the University of Jamestown.
So far, I'm thinking I'm going to major in biology, but that's not for sure nailed down yet.
I'm the same way, actually. I'm thinking majoring in biology as well, maybe minoring in psychology. I'm not 100% on anything yet, though.
Well, that should be interesting to see what you guys choose. All of those sound like great choices. Definitely something I wouldn't do too good at. Wasn't the smartest in school, but you guys will thrive at anything you do. Just hearing that you guys have been pretty solid in school, being honor roll students. Just the realization I guess, is my next question of knowing you guys have accomplished your goal of getting to that point of playing D1 hockey. How surreal do you think that is, just knowing you guys have reached that level where you guys are going to be able to play at the D1 level?
It's crazy because I've wanted to do this to play university hockey and even just to play AAA on the team that we're playing for right now. Like, I've wanted that for forever. So it's really cool that it's actually happening. You know, it's coming true. Like, I'm committed. I know I get to play university hockey. It's a really crazy feeling.
Yeah, this opportunity has got me super excited. As Cambrie said, it's kind of just been something that both of us have wanted to do since we've been little. We've also talked about it before, so it's definitely exciting.
Yeah, must just be the greatest feeling knowing you guys have been able to accomplish this, getting a chance to commit to a D1 hockey school, the University of Jamestown, especially in their inaugural season. But living arrangements is always something I ask. Where players are planning to be living during their time in college, going to university, stuff like that. Have you guys kind of had some discussions about what you'll be doing in terms of living arrangements at this point?
I think we plan to live together in the dorms on campus because, like, for the program, you have to live on campus your first year, so that's what we'll be doing.
Well, that'll be exciting for you guys to, be in close quarters, be together, get to spend some time with the team as well a lot of the time. I'm assuming, just have you guys been able to speak to any players on the team that have committed there yet, or have the conversations not happened like that yet?
We've actually, some of the girls have DM'd me, and then we made a Snapchat group chat, so that's how we're communicating right now, just to, like, get to know each other before the next season.
That's
So
sweet.
it's not as awkward.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, it's nice too that so early on, you guys are already, getting to know each other over Snapchat, which is pretty cool. Do you feel like that's going to be huge, just getting to know the girls like this so early on, even though you guys aren't meeting face to face yet, but just getting that familiarity with each other, building a connection heading into the first season together?
Like, even just knowing each other that little bit, just talking a little bit, getting to know the basic things about each other, like, that's going to be huge so that we're not complete strangers when we all show up there. Like, there's no veterans on the team to, like, lead the way or anything like that. Like, we're all new in this together. So I think it's going to be huge that we know each other even just that little bit before we all get there.
Yeah, I think that'll definitely be big in the dressing room, just so we're not all strangers, so it's easier to, like, create chemistry early on.
Yeah, no doubt. Always nice to get that familiarity so early on, and it's great to know that you guys have been able to do that at this point. Just talking about, you guys playing in the MFHL, Cambrie, this is your fourth season. Annika, this is your third with this team. How do you guys feel like just the years of experience playing in this league is going to help you transition to that next level?
I think it's definitely taught me, like, the price of hard work. Like, working hard will get you somewhere, so I think that'll definitely give me a bit of an upper hand going into next season.
Yeah, like, we know what it's like from playing in this league, that working hard gets you ice time, it gets you opportunities, gets you power play, penalty kill, that kind of thing. So the work ethic that we've learned from playing in this league will carry over to playing university hockey as well.
What do you feel like you both are going to need to work on this season, and just, just talking about this season, working on those skills to continue getting to that level where you feel comfortable at playing at that D1 university level?
Definitely just continue to work on my confidence with the puck and just, like, with my style of play, as well as, like, just becoming a smarter player, like making smarter plays, and just, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, creativity is another thing that I need to continue to work on. Just trying to do different things with the puck instead of the same thing over and over will help me grow as a player a lot. And confidence as well is something that I can always keep working on.
Gotta ask this final question on the university side of things. Always something I'm interested to know. What are you guys most looking forward to in terms of just what you're going to experience in this university lifestyle coming up in your lives?
I think I'm definitely most excited about like having morning practices and like lifts, because when I've like heard about it from other people, they've sounded like they've loved it a lot. So I'm definitely excited for that.
Yeah, I think getting to bond with the university hockey team is going to be really cool because as much time as we spend together with the team we're playing on right now, with that team, we're together every day. We kind of do most things together aside from the school things. But yeah, I'm just excited to be in a new place as well. New school, new teachers, all that kind of thing. It's all really exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Always nice to, experience some new experiences, and you guys are gonna get to do that a lot of the time in your upcoming university hockey careers. Moving over to this season with the Pembina Valley Hawks, so you guys are 3-1 so far, 12 goals for, 8 against. A lot of close games, 2 shootout wins for you guys so far this year. Just speak about the team this year. A lot of returning players, some good veteran leadership on the team. Just speak about, this year's Pound Valley Hawks team compared to other years you've had a chance to play with this program.
I think we have a really special group of girls this year. We all get along really well off the ice, which is obviously huge for on the ice. And I think the chemistry on the ice is already really good. We've got lines that are starting to work well together, starting to know where each other are all the time. And I think that's really special already this early in the season.
Yeah, I agree completely with Cambrie. I don't know what else there is to really say. We just work really well together, and big things are in store.
Yeah, for sure. You guys looking like you could be one of the top teams and one of those teams, looking to compete for a championship, having a real shot at that this year if you guys continue to build on what you've been doing so far. Out of the things that you guys have experienced so far this year, playing in games, what would you say are probably some things that this team is going to need to work on to continue getting to a higher level this season and to competing with those best teams in the league?
I think we need to focus on playing a full 60 minutes. Lots of the time we kind of get down in the second period, which kind of has cost us games in the past. So I think just focusing on playing that full 60 minutes.
Yeah, consistency is going to be huge because in our game against Westman that we wound up losing, and then the game against the Winnipeg Ice, we got up in the first period, and then in the second came out flat and weren't ready for the other team to come back harder. And that's definitely something that has to change because we will lose games by taking an entire second period off.
Yeah, definitely something that you guys can work out, right? Getting that consistency just takes time sometimes, and I feel like you guys will be there soon if you guys continue to build on what you've been doing so far. The upcoming games this weekend, 2 games for you guys going up against 2 pretty good teams, the Yellowhead Chiefs on the road on Saturday, and then, of course, like mentioned before in this episode, going up against the Westman Wildcats this Sunday. Just what's the excitement been around the team like, just getting prepared for this upcoming weekend of games this week?
This is a really big weekend of games. Like, they're both on the road. We got long trips for both. Like, Shoal Lake and Hartney are both pretty far for most of us. Practice was really big this week, working on the things that we need to work on to win those games because we really need both wins this weekend.
Yeah, so this will be the first time that we're playing Yellowhead. So for the new girls, it's going to be probably a different style of game than they're used to. So that'll kind of be a shock, I'm assuming. But yeah, 2 pretty big games, so we just have to come ready to play.
Well, best of luck to you two this weekend, going up against Yellowhead, of course, on Saturday, and then a rematch against Westman on Sunday, a rematch from last weekend's game on Saturday. It was Cambree, Martens, and Annika Braun joining me here on Coffee with Graeme on this Thursday night. Ladies, you take care. Stay safe.
Yeah,
thanks for having us.
Yeah, no problem. Hope to do it again soon. You guys take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, bye.
And of course, Cambree, Martens, and Annika Braun joining the show tonight. 2 players recently committing to universities, or to a university. The University of Jamestown, like mentioned before, for the 2022-2023 season, and should be exciting for them taking on that new chapter of their lives, again, to start in the first year ever with this program. And Jamestown's inaugural season in 2022-2023. We're going to take another commercial break here in this edition of Coffee with Graeme. When we come back, I'm going to be talking to Gordie Tumilson. It's a pre-recorded interview, so not sure if I'm going to do a little intro to, introduce Gordie or not. Not sure yet, but we'll find out after the break. No matter what, you're going to see my interview I did earlier today with Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy's goalie coach and marketing director about this past weekend's games for the academy, as well as the upcoming games this week, and just talking about the three teams that this academy has. You're watching Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. Stick with us. I'll be back after the break with Gordie here on the show.
Welcome to Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, your world-class academic and hockey training facility created to maximize each student's athletic and academic potential. Blackjack Stewart Arena, home of the Buffalo, is inside the 46,000 square foot complex, as well as a curling rink and other facilities. The students have a unique combination of successful, well-rounded education at Pilot-Mound Collegiate Institute and the professional hockey training in an encouraging community. The years of experience of on-ice coaching propel our students to the next level, both mentally and physically, in a professional environment.
Now on Coffee with Graeme to talk about the past weekend of games from the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy teams, the U17s, as well as the U18s, is goalie coach and marketing director of Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, Gordie Tumilson. Gordie, nice to connect with you for another week. How have things been around the academy since the past weekend of games has transpired?
Well, the academy's always busy. Those folks are going 24/7 almost. Sleep is the only rest they get. That's the players and the management and the staff and everybody else, because every day there's a practice, every day there's meals, every day there's school, every day there's fitness class, every day there's all that and homework. And so between 7 in the morning and 8 at night, I mean, they're just going full bore. I don't know how they have the energy to continue on. I get one day a week out there and I'm beat. So but maybe that's just age. I'm not sure. Anyway, it's been busy. Some good games on the weekend. And yeah, we had some fun. So yeah, look forward to what's coming up this weekend as well.
And definitely, you have to assume that the younger kids can definitely handle the workload rather than good old Gordie Tumilson here. They work him to death sometimes, as he tells me every once in a while at the academy. But just talking about the U17s first, of course, the STV Productions was in Pilot-Mound this past weekend to cover all three of their games against the Indigenous Sports Academy. They lost 2 of 3, but a lot of close games this weekend, Gordie. A lot of shots put on net by the U17s. Just talk about what the feelings been like around their team after that past weekend of games they had against the Indigenous Sports Academy Eagles.
Yeah, it was nice to play somebody sort of on an equal terms. They're a new team in the league, and their players are about the same as our guys are, and that's good. We're not we don't have the cream of the crop right now. We've got some really good players, some hardworking guys, and that's a nice thing to have. So we're getting better, and yeah, 3 good games. We won the first one, lost to the next 2, one with an empty net goal, so 2 1-goal game losses, and so yeah, we feel better about that. I mean, we would like to have won all 3 of them, but we did have some more offense. We at least shots. We don't score a lot of goals. I don't think we've got a lot of handsy guys. We've got a lot of grunt guys, and so it's going to be a lot of work to score goals, but that's okay, and that's not going to bother anybody. The kids are getting better all the time at doing the things they need to do to be better defensively, which we were certainly. Our goalkeepers are thrilled with that this weekend. And offensively, we're getting there as well. So we're taking care of business at home, and then at our end of the rink, and trying to get some more things going at the offensive side.
There were a lot of injuries in that last game on both sides. You guys got a bit banged up, of course. What's the health like right now of this U17 team?
Well, we've got a couple of guys out, but not too serious, so that's a good thing. We've got from little injuries. Goalkeeper took one in the mask, and he's wearing braces, and so he got a cut lip, and that's a minor thing. We've got some shoulder injuries. You got a lot of ice going on, a lot of heat going on, some massage therapy, those kinds of things. We've got again not too many on the serious side, but we do have a couple of guys that are kind of resting at the moment. I guess we've got one shoulder injury that's keeping a guy out for a few weeks, but other than a dislocated shoulder. But other than that, most of them are minor and sort of day-to-day or week-to-week type of injuries. So we're looking forward to getting everybody back, or most everybody back this weekend.
Yeah, and if there's any silver lining, of course, it not being too serious, but these happening earlier in the season rather than later on in the season. Let's hope that the injuries don't pile up too much as the season goes along for this U17 team. But for the U18s, they were in Winnipeg for 3 games this past weekend. They lost all 3, but by the score in those games, it seemed like they got better and better as games went along. And I had a chance to talk to Brad Platt, head coach of the team, of course, on Tuesday night, and he said he was pleased with this team's effort at times. Just speak about what the U18s are feeling after this past weekend of games they had in Winnipeg.
It's a bit of a roller coaster for that group. Balmoral Hall is an extremely good prep team, and they took it to us badly in shots. Goalkeeper River Johnston had a great game, kept the score down to 5-1. The other games were fairly close as well, and we're getting better. I mean, that's the whole neat deal. We're not playing. Problem is we're playing a shift here and a shift there, not so good. We're playing a bunch of good shifts, but then we play a poor one for some reason, and then we get a goal or two against us, and those tend to pile up just a little bit. So we're still struggling with a little bit of inconsistency, but player by player, we're getting better, and that will be the theme until probably Christmas or pretty close to Christmas, when we should have this, our game figured out and the skills up to snuff and all that stuff. So we've got a bit of time to work on things. We're a bit surprised that some of the girls, some of the skill level isn't as high, or some of the fitness level isn't as high as we'd hoped that when they come in here. But we're trying to take care of some of that as we speak. So it's just a matter of time. And by the new year, we're going to be taking on some of these better teams that are way better than us. We'll be holding our own quite nicely by then.
And the U18s were supposed to be in action for one game on Friday, so tomorrow, but unfortunately, due to some injuries, they decided to cancel against Balmoral Hall. So, best of luck to the U18s moving forward in their upcoming games and in the near future for sure. Talking about the U15s now, they got the weekend off, got to spend some time, with some family, with Thanksgiving and stuff like that. Going home for the weekend. I'm assuming they're back to work. They've been back to work this week. What's the work load been like for the U15s this week? I know that like every team in the academy, they go every day doing the usual stuff that you guys do in the academy.
Sure. Well, the really neat part about the Thanksgiving weekend is that there's a bunch of kids from Manitoba and close by. They took somebody home. They literally took a kid from somewhere else and took them home with them. So we share a hockey player weekend in Manitoba, and that was great because we got people being moved around and meeting other folks, and everybody's getting sort of integrated with one another. So some traditions in Manitoba may be different than those in BC or Northwest Territories or Saskatchewan. So there you go. We had some good times there, and I know the kids really enjoyed themselves. And as far as the getting back to normal, of course, these guys have got so much energy. My Lord, they practice first thing in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they're there and they're just buzzing and flying and talking, and noisy and oh yeah. So it's great. And they get up, so they get a good wake up in the morning. They get going, and they work pretty hard. Most of these guys, for their practices, and they too are getting better. So we just keep working on skills. I mean, a lot of skill development still. Again, a little bit surprised with some of the kids, but nonetheless, we're doing it. And it doesn't hurt anybody to keep doing skill stuff. And then they get into team stuff. They're getting a lot of team stuff. Coach Kyle and Coach Danny are really working hard on, the power play and the PK and defensive zone stuff, offensive attack. They're using the high guy a little bit more for back checking, which goalies love. And they're starting to catch on to that a little bit more, getting more responsible. So there's lots to teach and lots to know. And so they're on the ice every day. Their skating's become way better. Their passing skills is getting better. So it's a work in progress again, but all going in the right direction.
What's the progress been like from the goalies since the last time that we've talked? The things that you've been working on them with this week.
Wow, that's an ebb and flow deal for goalies. That depends on how the players are playing in front of them. We really need our teams to play, decently defensively to have any success. I mean, we're going to stop a lot of shots. If we're not playing well, we're going to stop fewer shots and hopefully the right ones. So the goalies got a little less work this past weekend on the U17 team. And we gave up a lot less goals. And although we gave up some untimely goals, and so we've talked about that a little bit more. You can get scored on, and you're going to get scored on. You're not big as a net, and the puck's too small and goes too fast. So you're going to get scored on, but you got to give up. You got to be kind of lucky or whatever the magic is to give up the goals at the right time or not the wrong time. I suppose that is. So. And that's sort of a mystery to goalies. I mean, you don't plan that, but you have a sense as you grow into the position that you're going to be counted on in certain times, and so we didn't make the big saves this past weekend, and kind of cost us a little bit. And the boys team, so our two goalies did okay, and they were good, but they weren't at the sort of highest level we'd like them to get to, and that's still work in progress. But we got River Johnson got going a little bit more, and the girls U18 team this week, and she got her timing back, and she was really great against Balmoral Hall. She made 55 saves in a 5-1 loss, and then came back 2 games later and played against Thunder Bay, and it was a 0-0 game to midway through the third period. So she held her own, made 30 saves in that game, a more normal game. And so she's got her timing for the first time since she's been here. She was hurt, so a little bit. So her timing hasn't been great, but it's there now. And Julie Julie Ducharme played steady for us in another game. Our girls team didn't support her really well in her game, so we kind of took it on the chin there a bit. But the goalies have been good to pretty darn good for the most part all season long, with the odd hiccup here and there. But we're looking forward to a good goalie weekend coming up.
Yeah, and of course, getting to watch the U17s, there were some times where both Kean Hodgins and Miles Gordon were making some huge saves. Just sometimes they couldn't quite get those timely saves, like you said. And yeah, the U18s, the goaltenders like Julie and River. Of course, you're saying River had a solid weekend, making 55 saves in that one game. That's something definitely to take home and be proud about for her. So that's great that the goalies are doing good right now for the academy. But let's talk about the upcoming weekend of games, a jam-packed schedule. The U17s in action 3 times this weekend against the Edge, and then the U15s in action as well. Talk about these upcoming games for the academy this weekend, Gordie.
Well, actually, there's 4 games with Edge. We got a game on Friday night, of course, and then we got 2 on Saturday, and then 1 Sunday, I believe, before Edge goes home. I think that's the case. If I'm not, and then I'm wrong, but I've been wrong once before. So there you go. But in the meantime, and then So that's going to be a real telltale thing for us. Edge is in our, it's league games. They're in our league, and they've always been a good competitor to us. So, and being out of Calgary, they're a pretty good franchise. You got lots of people to draw from, and they're one of the premier teams usually. So we're going to have our hands full. It's going to be fun. It's going to be another experience. New players against us. That's a good thing. So we are looking forward to that. And the boys, U15 guys, Edge U15s are coming through for one game. They're in Winnipeg playing the rink a couple of times, and then coming into our place to play us on Sunday. And so we're looking forward to that game, or on Saturday, I guess. Yeah, Saturday. And then we get Souris back. We played Souris before in their tournament, so we get them again on Sunday, kind of as an exhibition game. So that'll be fun as well. And all the kids love to play the games. They love to see themselves watch the video on TV from ASTV, etc. So they go back to the archives. They, it's all on YouTube. So anybody else wants to watch them, they can. Coaches, other people, scouts and whatnot from all over North America can watch them. So it's a neat thing for them, and they can also look at the boo-boos they make and the good stuff they do. So that's always fun.
Yeah, for sure. Well, ASTV Productions can't wait to cover all the action this weekend in Pilot-Mound with the U17s and the U15s. And on Saturday, that 7 p.m. game for the U17s against the Edge is going to be our CSSHL game of the month. So there you go. A lot to look forward to this weekend. And yeah, Gordie, I'll see you there, I'm sure. Can't wait for it all. Talk to you then.
Thanks.
That was goalie coach and marketing director of Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy, Gordie Tumilson, joined me on this edition of Coffee with Graeme. Just gonna tell you guys when Pilot-Mound will be in action. I got the full schedule here of games that they'll be playing. So starts off on Friday night on ASTV Productions. That's where you guys can find these games, on our Facebook at ASTV Productions, on our YouTube, Amateur Sports TV, and anywhere else where you may tune into the games on ASTV. And yeah, just going to talk about when these teams will be in action. Of course, the U18 female prep Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy Buffaloes canceling their game against Balmoral this week on Friday, so tomorrow. That was supposed to go at 5 p.m., but no game from the U18s. But our coverage kicks off tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. The U17s in action against the Edge for the first time this weekend. And then they'll be right back at it, the U17s against the Edge, the next day at 10 a.m. The U15s will also be in action against the Edge at 1 p.m., and then the game that you guys, I think, are going to want to tune into with great anticipation is going to be the CSSHL game of the month, like mentioned in this episode, in that interview with Gordie. It's going to be, of course, Pilot-Mound's U17s taking on the Edge. And before that, ASTV will be doing a 2-hour pregame show, getting you guys set for the action in that game. Me, two of my color commentators that I've worked with here on the network, Seth Rock, the guy who was doing color commentary with me this past weekend, will be on in a group with me, and our other color commentator, Cody Wall, will be in Blackjack Stewart Arena, breaking some things down, talking about the past games, the games that happened that day. Gonna have some interviews for you guys. Alumni Brett DeTarren, former captain for the Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy U17s, will be coming on in a pre-recorded interview. Did that interview with him today. He's going to be talking about a lot of good stuff there. I had a chance to have a really good conversation with him. And yeah, we'll also have another crew that's going to be remote, won't be at the rinks. So going to be a lot of fun. That pregame show, 2-hour pregame show, leading up to the Pilot-Mound's U17's game against the Edge on Saturday night. Of course, like mentioned, that game, not sure if I mentioned it yet, but that game going at 7 p.m. Our live pregame show will be starting at 4:30, and then to end off our coverage for this weekend at Pilot-Mound, we'll be broadcasting a game at 11 a.m. for the final game of the weekend between the U17s going up against the Edge. So lots to look forward to this weekend on the network. Hope you guys tune in. Should be a lot of good hockey to be played and watched this weekend on the network. We're going to take one final commercial break. I'll be back for some final words. You're watching this edition of Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions, and we'll be back right after the break here on ASTV on Coffee with Graeme. Welcome back to Coffee with Graeme on ASTV Productions. I was just joined by Gordie Tumilson, well, I guess earlier today, but most recently in this episode, joined by Gordie Tumilson, goalie coach and marketing director of Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy. I can't seem to pronounce some of my words tonight. Maybe my mouth is moving faster than my brain can process the words, but we've gone through it tonight. Hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme. Gotta take a sip of water there. Wet the whistle, as the old cliche goes, the old saying. But yeah, want to thank Gordie Tumilson as well as Brock Couch, head coach of the Stonewall Jets in the MMJHL. Brooklyn Franklin, number 6 and MFHL Player of the Week for Week 2, as well as Anikka Braun and Cambrie Martens of the Pembina Valley Hawks for coming on tonight's edition of Coffee with Graeme and being the guests in tonight's episode. I also want to thank you, the viewer, for taking the time out of your Thursday night or anytime you're watching this edition of the show, for tuning into Coffee with Graeme, and a special thanks to all of our sponsors in tonight's edition of the show. The official sponsors of Coffee with Graeme in Evolve Green, AETi, TOVI Hockey, Caisse Financial Group, and of course our good friends over at Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy. Coffee with Graeme will be coming to you guys next week on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central Daylight Time. That's when you can watch the next edition of the show. You can watch it on our Facebook at ASTV Productions or on our website, astvproductions.com. If we do go live, you can also check it out on our Twitter at Amateur Sports TV. But if we don't go live, you can check it out on our Facebook and on our website. And in terms of the content that I'll be producing this week, it's not over for me. Before I head out to Pilot-Mound tomorrow for the weekend to cover the academy, doing some play-by-play for, of course, ASTV. Going to be doing Rise and Shine Manitoba tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Manitoba time, so Central Daylight Time. You can catch that episode on our Facebook, on our Twitter, and on our website. And the reason we're doing it tomorrow is because on Wednesday, here at the Forsyth household, there's been some troubles with the Wi-Fi again, but seems like things are sorted out now, and we'll be ready to roll tomorrow morning. Gonna have Harry Siemens on the show on the Farm Report to give us an update on agriculture here in Manitoba and really across the world. Harry likes to talk about the U.S., some other places, likes to talk about some other places in Canada as well. So should be fun to hear what he has to say tomorrow morning. as well as Lorena Mitchell, CEO and president, founder. She does it all for Evolve Green. The girl for Evolve Green, Lorena Mitchell, and also the host of Evolve Green or Evolution Greenworks here on the network, will be joining me tomorrow on the show to give a solar report, the weekly solar report on Rise and Shine Manitoba. And we're also going to have some Pilot-Mound Hockey Academy coverage for you guys. Of course, as mentioned in the interview with Gordie, Brad Platt will be coming on tomorrow morning in a pre-recorded interview to just talk about the U18 program this season, how things have been going, and gonna also finish off that episode of Rise and Shine Manitoba with Graeme's opinion as well, a segment where I give my opinion on things in sports, many topics in sports. I like to try to do that at least. Going to be doing that a lot more because it's basically been CFL stuff mostly as of late, but we're going to switch it up a bit in the near future. Not tomorrow, though. Going to have the CFL Power Rankings tomorrow morning on Graeme's opinion, as well as Week 11 predictions for who I think is going to win in those matchups. I always get confused with the weeks in the CFL. Really odd this year because they cut it down due to them starting late, right? Pretty sure it's week 11. Yep, week 11 predictions coming tomorrow. Power rankings after week 10 transpired this past weekend and week, because there were games last week in the CFL. And yeah, also going to be giving you guys my player rankings in the NHL for top 10 wingers, top 10 defensemen, and top 10 goaltenders in the league. Gave my rankings of the top 10 centermen in the NHL in last week's episode. So if you guys want to check out that, be sure to check out last week's edition of Rise and Shine Manitoba. There's going to be one more thing I'm going to be talking about on Graeme's opinion tomorrow. Something that I said I was going to talk about last week in that episode, but for some reason I just forgot about it. It's my worst fast food experience. Hopefully you guys are interested and curious about what that's going to be, because it could be a doozy. That story could be, because it was a pretty awful experience. But yeah, that's coming up tomorrow on Rise and Shine Manitoba here on ASTV Productions Manitoba show. Of course, you can catch that on anywhere you watch our shows here on ASTV. But that's going to do it for me tonight on this Thursday evening. I've been your host of Coffee with Graeme, as always, Graeme Forsyth, signing off now. If you guys don't tune in, Rise and Shine Manitoba, we'll see you next Tuesday, next week, folks. Until then, have a wonderful rest of your Thursday night. Have a wonderful weekend as well. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, folks, I'm signing off. Graeme Forsyth. Peace out, everyone.